You are watching this video because you are already running Google Ads in some way and you're interested in how to scale it above and beyond to new heights. Well, I'm going to help you with that problem today. My name is Max Sinclair. I'm founder of Snowball Creations. I do ads for a living, so I've got to see all sorts of Google Ad accounts.
I've seen things you've only seen in your nightmares.
And help to scale them to new heights. So this is a really simple campaign structure, which I'm going to show you in this video, which helps you to find new keyword ideas, which is one of the best ways to try to help scale an existing campaign often, especially if you're really pushing those existing keywords that you've been using to the limit. You've raised your bids, you've really kind of got all the juice out of them that you can. That's profitable anyway. So we need to find some new keyword ideas to try and help find new veins of gold in that mountain.
Give me some of that.
To help scale your business to new heights. So let's dig into it. So in this, we are going to be building the Explorer campaign. This is an Explorer campaign because it goes out and explores around the world of Google search for you.
So many activities!
To find you great new keyword ideas, which will help you to find new opportunities to sell to new customers, people searching different types of things that you might not have already done. So if you're scaling up your Google Ads, this is a really great way to do it because you're just finding new search terms which you've not yet bid on. It's very simple and straightforward. So I've come to my Google Ads account for Snowball Creations where we run our own ads. And I'm going to show you a really simple example. We're going to pretend that you've got like an eco-friendly toothbrush to be sold.
Oh God, not again.
And we're going to create a campaign around that. We're going to pretend that a search campaign is logical for that. And I'm going to show you how we can create an Explorer campaign to find more keyword opportunities around selling an eco-friendly toothbrush. So what we'll do is firstly go to sales. That doesn't really actually matter, to be honest, about this goal part, but we're going to click that for us. We're going to just accept the conversion metrics which we've already got in place. Obviously, you want to make sure you have your conversions properly set up before you do any ads. There's obviously these different types of campaigns. For the Explorer campaign, we're going to be using search. As we click through here, none of these really matter, to be honest. You can ignore those. Well, let's just call it the Eco Toothbrush Explorer campaign. Click continue through. This is obviously Google trying to force itself to use its automated bidding strategies. We generally just use automated bidding strategies in other. We often start with clicks and then move on to conversions once there's enough conversions. Google is not even showing you that there is a manual CPC at this point, so I actually have to pretend that I'm interested in one of their automated bidding strategies for now, and then ignore all of their messages and click next. I'll untick these because these are just generally lower quality networks, so I almost never use these two unless there's a really specific use case. If you wanted to do display, then do a display campaign separately. And then I'm going to go for the UK just as an example in my situation because we're a UK business. Maybe I want to add the US as well, but whatever your destination of choice is. Let's just say that's fine. Audience segments, you can deal with that later. What you can do is add a load of audience segments as observations and see how they react to you, and that might teach you some segments which you could exclude later on. So, I'm pretty generous with just selecting lots of these, and then later on I look through the results of those and see if any of them actually aren't responding well, and I leave it as observation recommended here. You can see there's more settings down here. So I generally, in this case, it actually doesn't matter too much, but generally what I would do is switch to do not optimize, rotate ads indefinitely, because what I'll generally create is 2 responsive search ads, and in Google, when they try to optimize for those 2 responsive search ads, they often don't do a good job actually. So I prefer to keep control and not let them optimize and leave it as rotate ads indefinitely. The rest of this stuff is generally fine. Let's click through to next. So then this is the keyword section. So obviously often if you're doing a complete search campaign, you might be creating 10, 15 different ad groups, and each of those might have several keywords within them. In this case though, with the Explorer campaign, we are going to just use one keyword, and it's going to be like the core keyword for your business. So let's say if it was us as a paid ads agency, it could be paid ads agency. That could be it. It could be paid ads, or we don't need to use the Explorer. It could be paid ads agency. That could be if it was us. If we were in this situation, though, we're doing an eco-friendly toothbrush, it could be eco toothbrush or sustainable toothbrush. And that's kind of like the core search that someone might be doing. And you'll note that I'm doing this as a broad match. I'm not doing a phrase match like this, or an exact match with the square brackets around it. I'm doing it in the most open-ended version, and I almost never use broad match actually, so this is quite strange, and this will make sense later.
You'll have to be patient with me.
So this is the one keyword we're going to use within the Explorer campaign, within the one ad group. I then would create the entire ad. I'm not going to go into this in tons of detail because this is a huge topic in of itself. But let's just say it's our own website. That is where the toothbrush is held. Not that that's the case. It doesn't like that because I've not got the HTTPS. So I'm just going to grab our proper URL just so it doesn't complain at us. And you always want to use this area, Eco Toothbrush. I'm just doing this badly, quickly for us to get through it.
Approximately 10 hours later.
You can realistically take the copy that you've used in your main search campaigns, and whatever's worked best, just use that. Eco Toothbrush. I'm just doing all of this very badly. Sustainably produced. And let's just add one more just for the sake of it. Sustainably produced, wooden base, whatever the hell. This is a terrible advert, but this is just me giving you an example. What we generally would do is have all 15 of these headlines set. I would create 3 or 4 headlines that fit the specific keyword, and I would pin those to the top in position 1. And then the rest of the headlines I might leave completely free. Or maybe let's just say we think that having the bristles are charcoal is one selling point, and the fact that it's a UK-based company is another big selling point. So I might have position 2 be UK-based company-related headlines and pin those to pin position 2. And then in the other responsive search ad we would create, I might set the fact that it's got the charcoal bristles as a main selling point, so I would set those as headline 2. So then I'm comparing one responsive search ad which is about the UK based business selling point, and the other responsive search ad which is focused on the fact that they have these charcoal bristles. So that's how we might create 2 responsive search ads, but I'm not going to do that in this video just for the sake of keeping it focused and quick. Eco-friendly toothbrush, UK produced, and UK produced charcoal bristles for ultimate teeth whitening. This is a terrible advert, but I'm going with it. Free delivery. Let's just say whatever. £5 of all of your order goes to help charities in need. Whatever. And then we might add image extensions, might do all the other good stuff. But let's just say, let's pretend that was a good advert that I just made. So then obviously Google's always trying to set you some wild budget. So in terms of budgeting, if you've got, let's just say you have £5,000 a month. So £5,000, I might use, let's just say, a small fraction of that towards this Explorer campaign. So let's say it's £100 to start with per month. And then let's click through here. Because this is ultimately going to just be a very small campaign ultimately. We've got one keyword and it's set with broad match. Let's just see if I can click through and ignore everything here. Has issues prevent it from showing on search. What doesn't it like? Let's fix the little... Where have I used? It doesn't like this probably. Great. Let's just get it published, and I'm going to show you on the other side of it how we can... Okay, so we've got it. I'm just going to turn it off so it doesn't start spending loads of money for us.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
So we've now got one ad group with one keyword, and that keyword is Eco Toothbrush, and you can see it says broad match. So what we're doing here is, generally speaking, when you run a search campaign, I would recommend that you're going to be using phrase or exact match in almost every scenario, because Google wants to use your money in as many ways as humanly possible. It wants to splash the cash, And so it tries to be as broad as it can. So a phrase match is really very much like a broad match nowadays, and an exact match is much more like a phrase match. So there is differences between each of them, but generally speaking, you want to be pushing down towards exact match or phrase match when you're setting up your campaigns, because if you've got, let's say, £2,000 per month ad spend, you very likely can easily spend £2,000 across a base of some of your main keywords that you might be setting. Let's say you've got 10 ad groups and you've got maybe 20, 30 keywords to start with your search campaign. That's going to easily spend £2,000 worth of ad spend. In most cases, this is me speaking very broadly, obviously, but that's going to very easily spend that much money. And so in most cases, phrase and exact is the right place to go. But with the Explorer campaign, all we're doing here is trying to find new ideas. So that is where broad match is actually really helpful, because broad match is wildly broad.
Well, that's wild.
It wanders off into all sorts of places. Like Google just says, okay, someone's looking for an eco toothbrush. Well, you've got the word eco in there, so maybe they're interested in other eco things like eco flannel, eco whatever, dishwasher, all sorts of other words. And so a lot of those will be rubbish. And so that's why we generally don't use broad match. But the entire point of this Explorer campaign is to wander off into other parts of Google's searches and find things that we just would never think of when we're doing our keyword research. So that's where broad match is really helpful. But we want to do this in a really controlled way where we're not just using up all of our budget on it. So that's why we have it as its own entire separate campaign, which I've already done. And something that I need to change now, once we've created the campaign, is switching the bidding strategy. So let's come into here. We need to go up into the campaign level. And then we come into this settings section and you can see bidding. So this is the bidding strategy. So it's set to maximize clicks because it doesn't let you set manual cost per click in the initial setup of a campaign nowadays because they're trying to hide it. So instead, or select a bid strategy directly. So this is Google trying to hide it from you because it doesn't like it when people use this. But they do still have manual CPC. So manual CPC is manual cost per click. You set your own maximum cost per click CPC for your ads. And you want to untick the increased conversions with enhanced CPC. Because all enhanced CPC does is basically say, I can actually spend more than the maximum cost per click that we're interested in. And in this situation, we're trying to find new ideas, but we're trying to find cost-effective new ideas as well. So we're going to keep control by using a manual CPC. So let me save this. And just to point out, Google's got £100 budget, that's okay, but obviously this is just proportionate to what your budget is. I'd look at it as being maybe 2 to 7% of your budget maybe that you might put into one of these campaigns. So then let's go over to ad groups. So then we have this one ad group, and let's go into the actual keyword itself. So you want to do your keyword research into this to actually find out what the average bid is. I generally would look at what your eco toothbrush has already been spending, like what are some of your main keywords? Because we're talking about scaling a campaigns and scaling Google Ads for your account. So I'm assuming you're already running Google Ads. And so I'm guessing you already know how much it costs generally for eco toothbrush and some of your main keywords. So you want to kind of look at it as being like an acceptable, okay, average level, or a little like a good level to pay. Let's just say on average it costs £1 per click for an average keyword that's like a really good one for your brand. Well then let's put it at 80p. So we might put, let's say 80 pence. Obviously this is a UK sterling account, so that's why it's in 80p. And so this means that the stuff that we're going to be showing up for, whether it's good or bad, we know that it's at least cheaper than the average that you're spending on most of the clicks in your account. So if they're also relatively good intention, like let's just say it's sustainable toothbrush or something, that might be something that we've not yet discovered, and that we can get for 80p or less, then that's actually an amazing opportunity for something to test. So we're going to be using this campaign to find all of these new ideas. Once we run this campaign, we'll go into search terms, and there'll be this big long list of search terms of all sorts of stuff. Lots of it will be rubbish, and lots of it, though, will be good. There'll be hidden gems in there that we've not thought of. So what we do is we come in here, we find some new search term. Let's just say sustainable toothbrush. That's a great new idea that we hadn't thought of. And so then we come in here, we would put a new negative keyword for this particular campaign. We would do exact match, probably sustainable toothbrush. We'd add that. And so then that stops sustainable toothbrush from keeping showing on this campaign. And we take that keyword of sustainable toothbrush and we add that into your existing search campaigns. So you're going to use that, you're going to create a proper ad group like you normally would in your main search campaigns. And so then you're using that new keyword idea, and you can see if it works out for you. You can see if you can get good sales and a good ROAS from that. And there you go. You've got a new idea in place, and you're spending more of your budget. You're able to scale a little bit further. And you just keep repeating this process. So you keep finding new ideas with this broad match keyword. And then as you find each new idea that's good, you move that off into the new campaign. If there's bad ideas, then you want to block those. But you don't want to be too aggressive with the negatives, because you want to let the account still have wide spectrum, kind of creative freedom to go where it wants to go and try and find new search terms for you. So this is the Explorer campaign. As I say, the main things to be aware of is make sure you set it as a manual cost per click. You do that cost per click slightly lower than the average, say, of what you're looking for, so that you know anything that comes in is a good, affordable cost per click. And go with a broad match keyword with a kind of central keyword that kind of sums up what you're looking for. Like for us, it would be paid ads agency, or let's say you're let's just say you're trying to sell footballs. You would just put, or like football boots, you would put football boots. So it's super, super simple. You put it as the most generic kind of broad version of it, so that it just can wander out into the world of Google. And yeah, look for spending around 5% of your budget on this campaign to make it fit to. So this is the Explorer campaign. Hopefully you can see how awesome this campaign can be to come up with new interesting ideas for your business in terms of different types of searches that people are actually doing. So it's real world data rather than all of these keyword planner tools that often aren't based on such kind of legitimate real opportunity for your business.
Boo.
So hopefully it's been helpful. Good luck setting it up for yourself. Please do let me know if you have any trouble with it. I'm always here to help. We do this as an agency for clients all the time. And otherwise, I will see you next Wednesday.